Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, now I've quit bitching about Disney Plus not operating in Australia or yet, and not being able to view The Mandalorian. Just some thoughts about the series itself. From what I've seen, it looks like Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. It is apparently going for a Western feel, kind of like Firefly. That was what I got from it, and what I've heard other people say. And it's like Rogue One Solo, what some people wanted Solo to be like. Basically, Solo running around, sort of being a smuggler and just sort of getting caught up in dramas, and that is sort of what this series is going to be like. And it looks good. It looks like it delivers. It feels right. Nothing felt off about it. And I couldn't help but think about Star Trek Discovery, and I'm really aware of how bright I am. Sorry. That's a little better. And I really was like sad, because it's like I love Star Trek. I'm a Star Trek fan first, and when I heard years ago they were going to do a Star Wars film TV series, I was a bit worried, because I thought, what if they do a decent series? And once upon a time, you had the Star Trek versus Star Wars thing. It was like the only sort of fight. Now everyone fights. Every fan base is divided, and just everyone's fighting. But back in the day, it was just Star Trek versus Star Wars, and you couldn't compare them because one was a TV series which had a few movies, and one was a movie that had some cartoons, and you couldn't really compare them directly. And I sort of thought, if they do a Star Wars series and it's good, how is this going to affect Star Trek? Because arguably the Star Wars films are better than the Star Trek films, or at least they had more effect. They were more successful, they were more popular, and they had more of a impact on culture and society than the Star Trek movies. Whereas the Star Trek series was what had the effect. The original series, Next Gen, that's what had the cultural impact. So I was a bit worried about that, but then there are all these things like, George won't do it unless he's got a 4 or 5 season commitment or something, and then the episodes were going to be 7 million an episode or something, and no one wanted to pay in case it's not successful, because then they are stuck with producing even just a year at that price. If it's not successful, would be pretty bad for anyone investing in it. So I never thought it was going to happen, and then I found out with Disney streaming, it's a different ball game altogether. And Disney wanted a Star Wars show, so they're going to get a Star Wars show. And I thought, ooh. But I don't like westerns. I like science fiction because you get to be on spaceships. It's like clean and futuristic, and it's not like a TV series where it's in the past and they're out in the desert or something. And like, I would never want to live in the desert. I would never want to go back into the past. So I've never really been fond of westerns or space westerns. And like I said, Firefly, I watched it once. I respect that it's good writing, good characters, and good stories, but I don't enjoy it because I just don't want to be there. I don't want to be in a space western. And same thing for Westworld. It was brilliantly written and everything, but I just didn't want to be there. And I thought I'd feel this way about The Mandalorian. But when I watched it, I didn't. It felt like Star Wars, and I do like Star Wars. I don't mind being in Star Wars land, but when I think about it, Star Wars land is kind of backwater and westerny, which I didn't really think about. Like, everyone seems to be struggling, and everything is like dirty, and everyone's like, it's sort of that sort of energy. But I actually enjoyed it. From what I saw of it, I didn't see the whole episode. I just saw scenes and bits. And it was so much better than Discovery. I was really upset. It's like, how I felt after Discovery was just rage and confusion, and just, what the hell is this? What are they doing? What I felt after this, what I felt after this was, wow, this is Star Wars. We have a Star Wars series. It's not exactly like the movies, but it's its own thing, and it works. So I'm a little jealous of Star Wars fans, because they get this series every week. They get this show which looks so far good. I'm not quite sure that they could screw it up really. I mean, it seems like a very simple premise, and they've got a lot of room for intrigue and complexity and interesting stories and characters, and it just, Star Trek Discovery pales in comparison to it, and it really really makes me sad because I have nothing to look forward to as a Star Trek fan. There's no Star Trek to look forward to. Now, Picard is a possibility. There are some suggestions it could be done well, that they have sort of gone beyond the Discovery sort of limits that Discovery had when it was first being made, due to licensing, because they knew that they were going to get the licensing sorted when Viacom and Paramount sorted out all their mess. And that has been finalised. So eventually the old contracts will wear out and new ones will be drawn up, and we won't have any of the issues anymore that we had with Discovery. So long term, if they're thinking long term, planning long term, acting long term, Picard could be good. But there's a lot of evidence that it's going to be just as bad as Discovery or worse, because they're taking something we loved and messing it up rather than just creating a mess in the first place. So I don't have anything to look forward to. I'm not allowing myself to be optimistic about Picard. I'm going to watch it, give it a chance, but I cannot afford to get excited about it because I cannot get as disappointed, upset as I did about Discovery. Because Star Trek is important to me, and I cannot deal with that again. So I'm kind of envious of Star Wars fans who get this new series, every week to be excited about and enjoy. And I don't know. I just wanted to comment on that, and boo Discovery. But who knows? Maybe they'll fix it in season 3. Who knows? I will watch it, but I have absolutely no expectations or optimism. But thanks for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. Comments are good. And hopefully you're enjoying The Mandalorian. Thanks. Bye.